Welcome. My name is Pamela Dale, and I am your GHL gal. And today I'm bringing you one of my favorite people in the world, Julia Taylor. Julia Taylor, GeekPack. If you haven't checked her out, we're going to put some links down below. But let's get her started. Let's have a conversation. Welcome, Julia.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. We've known each other for years.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, and we've been back and forth and around, and I am so grateful that you have me come into your group of amazing women once a month and kick some ass around getting some clients.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
They absolutely, like, you're always a highlight every month. So many of my students love, getting their backside kicked. Can we swear on here? I wasn't sure.
Oh, we can swear around here.
Oh.
So I'm going to read out the bio that you shared with me, the first couple of lines, because I think it's so profound. It says, some people look at the sky and see stars, others see constellations. Some people look at lines of code and see a website. Julia saw a path to empower women in building their dreams. Oh, I just got goosebumps.
No, every time I read that or I hear someone else read it, I do as well. Yeah, it does. It gets me very excited to think that something as simple as, and yet perceived as maybe not being so simple, but lines of code or, just doing anything techie can have such a profound impact on someone's confidence.
3,500 women you've guided towards making money and or building a business for themselves. How did you get started?
Oh gosh, effectively just doing it myself. Like everything that I have done and the business that I've built and now the team that I have and the community that we work with is just what I wish I'd had when I first got started. And going way back, 2008, I used to work for the US government, the intelligence community. And in 2008, I was deployed to Afghanistan. And while I was there, I met my now husband, who was in the military. He's British. So not long after meeting, I moved to the UK. I left my job, and long story short, I'm a military wife, and we were moving a lot. So my career with the U.S. government kind of came to an end, and I found myself bouncing from job to job with kind of blah admin type work, and I wanted something that I could do from anywhere that had career progression. I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. I didn't even really know what that meant. I never wanted to have my own business. That like some people say, oh, I was an entrepreneur since I was 9. That wasn't me at all. Not even in the slightest. I still kind of struggle with it now, because it's hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's not easy. And I stumbled upon coding, and I Googled how to do it, and I taught myself, and it took me a long time to get from coding and web development and WordPress to kind of being techie to then starting my own business. It took years to getting a client. And now I'm teaching other women to do what I did in a much quicker period of time and with a community, because I didn't have that. And it was hard to be successful and ask questions about anything tech related and not be made fun of, because I was, and it sucked. So that's really what we're doing at GeekPack, is empowering as many women as possible to learn tech skills, digital skills, coding, web development, like you name it, we do it within a safe, supportive community. That's really what we're doing.
That's really what I see as well. You've done a really great job of building that community. What do you think is the biggest challenge your women face?
Oh, confidence. Completely. Yeah. And can I do this? Am I too old? Is it going to be hard? Will I find any clients? Are people going to laugh at me? What if it doesn't work? Like all the stories we tell ourselves in our heads, because I used to tell myself a lot of stories. I still do, just on a different level.
Right.
And how to kind of overcome those. And I'm such a big believer that one step towards overcoming some of those stories in your head about not being good enough, not knowing enough, not having a degree, not being able to, it being too hard, not feeling like enough, is something very tangible, like a digital skill that you may have perceived as being hard, because Hollywood says it's hard, and doing it and seeing the actual result. There's something very powerful about that. At least it was for me, and I've seen that with thousands of women. And that's really what we're trying to do is, yeah, it is, confidence is hard to build. So what's one way that you can have that immediate win and kind of boost is show them something that is perceived as kind of techie and hard, show them how to do it. And it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know I could do that. And that's the first step.
The thing that I heard you say, I think that's the most powerful, is that you had those thoughts. You now have a 7-figure business, and you still have those thoughts. Because I think a lot of people don't understand that it's possible. I think they don't believe it's possible. And that was one of the reasons I wanted to speak with you, because we started together back in the day, and you've just like way outgrown me. Like way, and you know why? You kept going. You didn't quit.
Do you know why I kept going?
Tell us.
Because I got very clear on my vision for the future, for the business. And it has nothing to do with me. Right. Because I can very easily stand in my own way. I can very easily talk myself out of something. I can tell myself stories and say, I can't do this or I can't do that. And make it about myself, when actually that's incredibly selfish. When if I have a vision that is bigger than me, that is about hundreds of thousands of other women and the impact that we can have on them, then little old me feeling uncomfortable doing podcasts, doing live events, that's not good enough. And that's what pushes me to keep doing more and ignore the introvert in me going, "Ooh, don't do that. Someone might make fun of you," or what if you say it wrong, or what if this, or what if that? It's like, oh, it doesn't matter, because that's just affecting me. What about the thousands, hundreds of thousands of women that we could impact if I just get out of my own way?
So profound. So tell me, how did you get to that vision? And then what keeps you going? Is the vision enough to pull you forward every day when you feel like
it is most of the time. So how did I come up with that vision? I can't remember. So we were in a mastermind together, and there was another member in the mastermind who did a CEO training. And I did that with him, Sean Delaney, and one of the very first things that we did, and I want to say it was maybe a 10-week kind of CEO training. And this was years ago. One of the very first things we did was come up with our mission, vision, and core values. And every time I heard, you need to figure out what your mission, vision, and core values, I'm like, yeah, I can see it's important, but I'll do it some other time.
I'm busy.
I need to do this thing, this like daily task, or I need to do this little thing or that little thing. However, that has probably been one of the single most important things that I've done in my business to take things to the next level, because it gave me not only something to aim for that's way bigger than myself, but it also kind of gave me guardrails, because it's so easy for us as entrepreneurs to have a new idea and go, oh, I heard someone in the mastermind or some other digital marketer that's doing this thing, so we need to do that. We need to do the live event, or we need to do the big thing here. We need to do evergreen. We need to do ads or YouTube. Like, there's always a shiny object to chase that's working for someone else. Right. But with this very, very clear vision, I have guardrails, and I can ask myself, is that new idea going to get me closer to our vision? And if it doesn't, then put it on a back burner. If it does, it still might go somewhere. And it's like, okay, let me marinate on that for a little while and think about it. And maybe we'll pursue it in the future. And that's what it gets me going. And, to be honest, it's been a tough past 6-8 months. And the thing that keeps me going is, it's not about me. It's not even, I love my team. I love my community, but it's so much bigger than that, because we've had an impact on thousands of women already. So why can't we have that impact on hundreds of thousands, on, millions? Why can't we? So that's what keeps me going.
I was like you and heard all of that really lovely stuff and probably downloaded 14 worksheets to do the exact same thing and didn't take it seriously. I thought it was fluff. I'm
Mhm.
just like you said, I got lots more to do. And for me, I think the exact same thing happened. Once I got a hold of what it was, once I understood what it was for me and what I wanted to, as Julie says, what problem do you want to eat for breakfast? Right? Once I got to that spot, then I can't quit.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful. So for people listening, I think we hear these kind of like those amazing quotes that you hear over and over and over again, right? Like you just disregard them because, I've heard that before. I've heard that before. But I think if there's anything more powerful to do and to stop right now and do is this work, is to
100%.
understand, because what I read on a post the other day was something I tell my owners and business owners all the time is, how many rooms do you have in your house? You need to segment one for crying,
I love that.
right? You need to segment one for crying, and they don't understand it. They do. I'm like, oh, okay, just hold on, because those days are coming. And if you don't have something bigger, if I don't have something bigger than me, because I get in my own way,
Yep.
it's nauseating, right? When I
Yep.
look back on it now, but it's got to be bigger. It's just got to be bigger.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
And the community that you have around you, who's got your back? Do you have that? How important has that been for you?
Huge. Because and again, I think this is not the norm for entrepreneurs. So if there's anyone kind of listening, and maybe you listen to some of the big entrepreneurs and you kind of hear them talking, like that's not quite me, or doesn't quite feel like me. That's okay. There's a place for you. You can be an empathetic entrepreneur. You can be a sensitive entrepreneur. You can be an entrepreneur that cries on lives, because I do that all the time. Just thinking about it makes me want to cry. So you can still be yourself and be a successful entrepreneur. Now, I have lots of coaches, so I've had plenty of coaching over the years to help myself be comfortable with that. And I used to be really embarrassed with my level of sensitivity. And now I kind of embrace it as this is my superpower. And part of that is the community that I've built, because I'm raw and transparent and sensitive and cry on lives, and will just say how I feel. My community resonates with that. And if they don't, and they're repelled by it, then they're not a part of the community. That's fine. But they resonate with that, and they see a part of themselves in how I'm explaining myself, and how I am conducting business, and how I am working with my team and building my business and building the community. And they are a part of that, and they will have my back. Because I'm sensitive, I don't take negativity very well. But because I've built this community of women who believe in what we're doing and want to be a part of it, I mean, do we get negative comments on ads? Of course we do. Who doesn't? But that's, I've also come up with a coping mechanism for that. But because I know that we have so many happy, successful, transformed women who have come through our community, that's what I remember. Now, if I see something bad, does it still affect me? Of course it does. I'm human. That's normal. But I know how to kind of move through it and just kind of keep on going. But me being my real self and being proud of that has helped build a community that supports me and my mission.
You said two very powerful things. The first is, when I asked you about who supports you, I was thinking, yes, you've got all these coaches, etc., but you went right to, it was your community.
Oh yeah.
Your community supports you.
Oh yeah.
You have built such an incredible community that was your first answer. And I see it every day when I'm in there. People just absolutely adore you. The second thing that you said was that I think we don't talk enough about, and the human condition, that we all are human. And there's these people that put out this persona, or this, we call it that bro marketing, right? That I've lived with a man, he's got feels, right? So it's, insecurities and all those things. And I think it's not spoken of enough out there that that's actually what happens. Because for me, what I used to do was really judge myself when I was there and go, and that didn't help me in any capacity move forward. So I appreciate the conversation around this, because I think if we really know how challenging it can be, then we don't feel abnormal. And then, like you said, I didn't set out to be an entrepreneur. I didn't either. And I think a lot of people didn't. So we don't know what this actually looks like. And then when it doesn't match what I'm seeing and what I'm feeling, it makes it even more challenging if I've got self-worth or self-esteem issues to start with, right? I'm just going to eat myself alive. And we see this with women a lot in this space, and they will not. I always say, I'd like the confidence of a mediocre white man. I really would. I would just love to, like, even a minute of what they've got, right?
Yes.
Because we just don't go there. We don't end up I had a guy sell me in the DMs the other day, and I'm like, whoa, I need to take a lesson from this, because he was just confident and right on point and doing, and me, I would have felt really, no, it wouldn't have been a good fit for me, right? But I didn't find it offensive. I found it very refreshing that he asked, and it's like, oh, I need to take a lesson from these folks. So
Yep.
yes, yeah, very, very powerful. One thing that I experience with you is exactly what you were saying. We were on a coaching call once, and you asked me to coach you, to give you an experience so other people could see what it looked like. And you were in tears in 3.5 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
The leadership in that moment was so profound. You were so vulnerable. What makes you go there?
I don't, I can't hide my emotions very well. And I've always been that way. And like I said, it used to really embarrass me. And it's just something that it wasn't something that I kind of switched over one day and it was like, okay, I'm no longer embarrassed. It's my superpower. I mean, it's taken years. And it's only knowing that how impactful it is for other women to see me be vulnerable. It's the only way I'm kind of able to be comfortable with it. And we hear that time and time again. I say we because, people will email or they'll comment and on lives and things. And it's the only way I'm comfortable being that way is knowing that it means that it's okay for someone else.
Leadership. Leadership 101, folks. Right?
I guess I wouldn't have thought of it that way, but if I can give someone else permission to be okay with themselves and how they feel and being vulnerable, then I am winning. Like, I can't think of anything better than that.
Winning.
Did I ever have someone? I can't think of like a specific time where someone else did that for me, and I was like, oh, I want to be like that. So I guess, are there other? I don't really follow that many people. So I can't think of any that are like super vulnerable and cry as much as I do. But I know that is a lot of women feel that way. So if I can be an example of how they are, but they're uncomfortable with it, and I am uncomfortable with it, but I do it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
If I can give other women permission to kind of be okay with that, then, I can't think of anything better.
The CIA says that we have 3 lives. We have our public life, we have our private life, and we have our secret life. And a lot of times, all we're seeing is public life, right? So what you're giving us a snippet into is your private life. And I'll never forget when I saw this guy on TikTok, and he was some big CIA guy. And he said that, and I was like, oh, that's how you break that down. There's almost like a gate in between all of them, right? And we do a lot of this public, but never do we get private and then secret, right? Like, what? No, I can't talk about that. And I decided myself to start to share more, even if it's just growth for me. But I feel very similar to you as well. And I started sharing a lot more private, and actually shared something secret the other day, right? I've wanted to kill myself for a while.
Yeah.
I just didn't, no, this isn't good. And by sharing and talking about that, I realized it's just part of me that I want to kill, not all of it. So that's why I didn't actually go through with that. But there's a part of me that still is not the person that she's, and it's trauma. And I realized it's trauma, right? And when we run numbers on trauma for women, it's devastating. It's absolutely devastating. So somebody said to me one time, the very thing you don't want to talk about is the thing you need to talk about. I was like, what? No. So I'll approach women in that way as well to kind of go through this, because it looks like it doesn't have anything to do with business. But I know it's got everything to do with business. My trauma responses and women's trauma responses, you'll see them as clearly as I can see them. Yes. And the way that muss up our business and muss up our lives when we really need that business to fund everything that we dream of and everything that we actually need.
Yep.
So I think this being vulnerable that you talk about, and that's one of the reasons I started sharing about being as a child, was because I know I'm not alone and nobody talks about it. And that is involved in almost all the decisions I make in my life, right? Fight, flight, freeze, all of it, right? It's still part of me. And if I can share that, and if I shared it because I then think I have permission to open the conversation around what I can see in them because it's in me, and how much it affects us in our business and in our lives, in the decisions we make for ourselves. And we can see it in money, we can see it in relationships. And those are the two biggest things that we need to deal with on this journey, is those two. So by me watching you has helped me be more open. Because
Awesome.
you didn't die, right? You're still able to build a business. It didn't affect you to the degree I thought it would, that people would make fun or people. So if anything, I think, I never know where the direction of these calls are going to go to, right? These shows are going to go to. And yes, when we talk about monthly recurring revenue and all of those things, but so many of us are so used to building something and burning it because of so many thoughts and things that are running through our heads.
Yep.
And if anything, the community that you're involved in, I think, really helps to give us a place to sit, right? That little place to just hold out. And I see a lot of your women just holding out in there because it's safe for them. They may or may not be getting everything that I'd like to see them get and you'd see them get, but I think we underestimate what the community does to allow them that little, place to kind of sit that's safe. And when people are ready, they have all the tools and everything that they need to kind of move forward into the next, because your training is phenomenal. What you do in your team is like, Shannon, I could just hug her, right? And you just got some of the most amazing people.
Yes.
Any final words for women wanting to build some monthly recurring revenue?
I'm trying to think of something a little bit more profound than, an actual offer. I think nowadays, especially with AI, a human connection is all you've got. Like when it comes down to it. And how can you make that human connection the most important thing, regardless of what you're offering? If it's software, what's your customer support look like? That human connection. Is it a chat bot? Is it a phone call? Is it Zoom? Like how can you be different with human connection? Because that's the only thing that we're going to have. And again, I don't know enough about AI, but I do know that that can't be taken away from us, that human connection. And it's something that I just do comfortably, but it's something that I hope more women will embrace, because we are very good at human connection. And I think it is something that sets us apart. And so how can we use that to our advantage, and be different than other people who may have relied on other things that could be replaced by AI? So that would probably be my biggest piece of advice.
Yes, I do see in the software industry, a lot of people are wanting to automate everything. And I think I didn't think of it the way that you just said it. And that is one of the things that women have that puts us above is that ability to connect. And I absolutely agree. Thank you so much for being a guest. How can we
Thank
find you?
you. Uh,
Geekpack.com.
yeah, geekpack.com is the easiest place. That's where everything is. So yeah,
And you help women learn how to code and build websites in every capacity so that they can build themselves a business.
absolutely. Yep. And we love it. We get to do that
Geekpack.com.
every day.
Thank you, Julie and
Yeah,
Taylor, my favorite
thank
person in
you,
the world.
Pamela. Thank you so much.